Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Alert View. Tonight we ask a simple but seismic question. Is justice in Britain still blind? Or does it now peek from under the blindfold to see who stands before it before delivering its verdict? Because the mounting evidence points to a shocking truth. A two-tier system of justice has been born in the heart of British democracy.
It is a deeply troubling reality, James. We are talking about a country that built its reputation over centuries on the rule of law and equality for all. But today, those very principles appear to be systematically dismantled. The story we begin with tonight encapsulates it all. It is the story of a man named Adam Smith Connor.
Adam is not just any citizen. He is a war veteran who served his country for 20 years in the British Army, including combat tours in Afghanistan. A man who has seen the horrors of war and returned home suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. One day, he stood in a public space, a considerable distance from an abortion clinic, and bowed his head in silent prayer for 3 minutes. He was praying for the son he lost. He said not a word, held no sign, interacted with no one.
And the state's response to this quiet, peaceful act? He was arrested, questioned, charged, and ultimately fined thousands of pounds. He was criminalized for praying inside his own head in a public place. Now, hold that image in your minds, viewers, as we show you another.
The image of violent protests that have swept the streets of London and other cities. Protesters chanting slogans many find intimidating, clashing with police and vandalizing public property. And the outcome for their actions? In many cases, verbal warnings, minor community service orders, or cases being dropped entirely. The same country, the same legal system, two radically different outcomes. How can that possibly be explained, Eleanor?
The explanation, James, is not a coincidence or a system failure. It is by design. The government has rolled out new sentencing guidelines which on the surface sound progressive. They claim to address systemic bias by requiring judges to consider an offender's background, their race, gender, and circumstances. But the actual result is not equality, but a new legislated form of inequality.
And that isn't our opinion. That is what the numbers say. Official data has been analysed showing that white defendants are 23% more likely to be given a prison sentence than defendants from minority groups for the exact same crime after all other variables are accounted for. Let me repeat that, 23%. That is not a statistical blip, it is an indicator of a deliberate, policy-driven bias.
And this bias shows up not just in the statistics, but in the real cases passing through our courts. Adam Smith Connor's case is not unique. Rosa Lalor, a grandmother, was arrested for the same crime of silent prayer. Alina Dulgariu faced prosecution for the same reason. There is a clear pattern of targeting one type of citizen with a specific set of beliefs, while another is granted remarkable leniency.
Compare that with the environmental activists who glue themselves to motorways, bringing traffic to a standstill for hours and endangering lives by blocking ambulances, or those who deface priceless works of art. So often they receive suspended sentences or small fines. The message the system is sending is clear. Your punishment depends not on the harm you cause, but how fashionable your cause is within the political establishment.
Which brings us directly to the man at the top of this system, the Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Critics have not nicknamed him two-tier Keir for nothing. His policies have created this reality, and when confronted with these contradictions, he expresses his disappointment. But that is not good enough. You cannot build the machine and then claim to be shocked when it operates as you designed it.
Indeed, for many this pattern is not new. During his time as Director of Public Prosecutions, Starmer oversaw a period where sensitive cases, including the horrific grooming gang scandals, were, in the eyes of many critics, willfully ignored for the sake of community cohesion. Critics argued that the same mindset of prioritizing politics over justice has now been carried over from the DPP's office to Downing Street and enshrined in law.
And it gets worse. This erosion of justice is now extending beyond the streets and the courts and into the most private of spaces, your mind and your home. In Scotland, hate crime laws have been passed under which you can be investigated for conversations held at your own dinner table. Citizens are being encouraged to report on each other for thought crimes. It is a chilling atmosphere of suspicion where your neighbours become potential informants.
This alarming decline has not been unnoticed internationally. In a powerful speech, American Senator JD Vance addressed Britain directly. He said that countries that claim to be liberal democracies must actually act like liberal democracies. He sees Britain, the nation that gave the world its core concepts of freedom, as now betraying its own legacy. It is a warning that the world is watching and Britain's credibility on the global stage is on the line.
That is a crucial point. When a nation like Britain abandons its foundational principles, it does not just harm itself. It gives cover to authoritarian regimes across the globe. How can Britain criticize China on religious freedoms while arresting its own citizens for silent prayer? How can it challenge Russia on its suppression of dissent while criminalizing certain thoughts at home?
It is a stunning hypocrisy. And it brings us to our question for you, our viewers, tonight. Are you witnessing an evolution of justice where the law is being reshaped to address historic inequalities, even if it means treating people differently? Or are we witnessing the destruction of a centuries-old fundamental principle that justice must be the same for everyone, regardless of their identity or their beliefs?
Is this the future of justice in the West? Please share your thoughts and analysis in the comments section below. The debate on this is vital. And to ensure you never miss our in-depth investigations into the stories the mainstream is ignoring, hit that subscribe button for alert view and ring the notification bell. Thank you for joining us.